everyone, and welcome to the 10th episode of Pre-Race Pulse right here on Racing America. It's so good to see you all tuning in as we break down the latest NASCAR news and preview the race weekend ahead. Of course, for today, I'm your host, Taylor Kitchen, and we're talking about two different tracks this weekend, the NASCAR Truck Series going to Lime Rock Park and the NASCAR Xfinity and Cup Series going to EchoPark Speedway or Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're going to break it all down, but first, let's get to some light NASCAR news. In case you haven't been following BJ McLeod on social media, which you all should, he's been hard at work on forming a roller coaster at Pigeon Forge over the past few months. He's documented the experience, and finally, this one-of-a-kind roller coaster is now open to the public as of June 20th. It is a thrilling roller coaster that takes you through a view of the Smoky Mountains, where you can go head-to-head with your competitors. It's called the Pigeon Forge Racing Coaster, and this is one that I need to go to Tennessee to try. I'm willing to take a road trip to Tennessee just to try the super cool roller coaster. You might have seen him advertising this on his cars during the season this year, whether it be Cup or Truck. So one, congrats to BJ McLeod on literally founding a roller coaster. That's so awesome. And two, hopefully you all are able to go out there and experience this one-of-a-kind thrill. So fingers crossed I'm able to get there too. But let's move on to talking about some paint schemes for this weekend. As you know, I love diecast. I love paint schemes. I love talking about everything around that. And there are three really cool paint schemes I want to highlight this weekend. If there are some that I don't mention, I want to know in the comments below what your favorite paint schemes are for the race weekend for EchoPark for the Cup Series. First up, anything food related, I'm there. And the Wendy's scheme for this weekend for Ross Chastain, the Fresh Ways to Frosty scheme, I love it. The colors, it pops. Would be a really cool die cast, like a color chrome die cast, I think would be so lovely for this. So I'm going to be looking at that scheme this weekend. Chris Buescher's Cinnamon Toast Crunch scheme is another one that immediately caught my eye. It has to be a favorite for this season. Shout out to Luke Creative, by the way, for all of this, the merchandise and stuff around this one. Excited to see this one under the lights at EchoPark, as well as the Tyler Reddick Upper Deck paint scheme. Now, it's a little simpler. However, I'm a sucker for superhero movies, superhero anything, and seeing the tie-in here to Superman promoting that new movie coming up very soon is very exciting. And these three cars are going to be under the lights at EchoPark Speedway, battling it out for $1 million, because the last piece of news to talk about here is this in-season tournament. It starts this weekend. It goes until the Brickyard 400. 32 drivers will battle it out in a bracket-style challenge for $1 million. And right now, seated first in all of this is Denny Hamlin. He'll face off against 32nd seed Ty Dillon. Now, some of you might think it's a no-brainer. We're going to see Denny Hamlin win first round. However, Atlanta's a wild card. EchoPark Speedway is definitely a wild card. So many things could happen. We've seen crazy wrecks at the Speedway over the past so many years. That could really hurt somebody's points day, and in this case, chance at winning $1 million. But to learn more about how these drivers are seeded heading into the first race of the in-season tournament, make sure to go to Racing America on SI. The in-season tournament brings us into our hot topic for the race weekend. With the NASCAR Cup Series, all the coverage will now move to TNT. It was on Prime, now it is on TNT, and you're going to see some of the same players that you saw with the Prime coverage, particularly with the broadcast booth still being Dale Jr., Steve Letarte, and Alan Alexander leading the charge. Then you go to pit road and you're going to see some familiar faces. Our very own Alan Cavana will be on pit road alongside Marty Snyder and Danielle Trana. And then you have the pre and post race show that will have Shannon Spake, Parker Kligerman, and Jamie Mack. And last but not least, you got to keep up with the in-season tournament. What's going on over these next 5 races? What's at stake? Who's moving on? Who didn't? And that's going to be led in an alt cast by Larry Mack and Jeff Burton. I am so excited to see what this TNT crew can do. If it's anything like the Prime coverage that we got, I'm gonna be happy. I'm sure you're gonna be happy as well, because it was phenomenal. I love a pre and post race show that goes in depth, talking to the drivers. I'm very curious how it's going to be with the TNT crew, but that starts this weekend and of course ends at the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The NASCAR Cup Series will share EchoPark Speedway this weekend with the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and as we know, EchoPark Speedway is no cakewalk. It is an intermediate track, but it acts as a super speedway, providing high stakes, high action, and nail-biting moments. I'm going to be looking at our super speedway ringers here for the Xfinity Series. I'm looking at you, Austin Hill. He could very well find himself back in victory lane. He's really had this track figured out. For the Cup Series, we could see an upset. There's a lot of drivers going into open entries this weekend. BJ McLeod in the 78, David Starr returning to the Cup Series in the number 66. We have Connor Zilisch in the number 87 in that beautiful Red Bull paint scheme. And then, of course, Corey LaJoie in the 01. And Corey LaJoie has been very, very close to winning at this track before, so he could be an upset win. Keep your eye on him. As the Xfinity Series and Cup Series are turning left only, the Truck Series is going to be turning right as well at Lime Rock Park. Lime Rock Park is so unique. It is a 1.5-mile, 7-turn road course with really funky elevation changes, tough braking zones that will keep these Truck Series drivers on their toes. And the Truck Series rarely goes to road course tracks anymore, so this will be a treat for us on the schedule. And they're going to have some competition. There are some drivers making one-off starts or their debuts at this track this weekend in the Truck Series. Particularly, I'm thinking of 4-time IMSA champ Jordan Taylor, or as we know him, Rodney Sandstorm. Very excited for him to be racing with Spire Motorsports this weekend and curious to see how he stacks up against the competition. Of course, Cam Waters returning to the Truck Series as well this weekend, so keep an eye out for those two drivers. But you're going to need to know where to watch these races. We have the Xfinity race this Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the CW. For the Truck Series race, it's on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. And then, of course, for the Cup Series, a Saturday race as well at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT Sports. The time has come for our race winning picks, and I'm going to be honest with you all, I was not really unique with who my race winning picks were this weekend. I know we can expect chaos and unexpected results. However, I went with the safe bets for this time. For the Truck Series at Lime Rock, you got to go with Corey Heim. He is the winningest of all of the active drivers at road courses right now. He's going to have some steep competition, and like I said, we can expect the unexpected. But I think Corey Heim is still going to get another win, adding yet another to his list this year. For EchoPark Speedway for the Xfinity Series, need I say more? Austin Hill. Austin Hill will likely win this race, let's be real. And then for the Cup Series, I look at Team Penske. I've been on a roll somewhat since Talladega with thinking about where Penske will win the races this year. They have been so good at these super speedway types of tracks this season. It's just been a matter of trying to close it out. Finally did that at Talladega. I think they're going to see and kind of fix the errors from Atlanta in the spring, come back to this race this weekend and get the win. And that driver, I think, will be Ryan Blaney, getting another win this season. But who do you think will win these races this weekend? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you all so much for tuning in to yet another episode of Pre-Race Pulse right here on Racing America. Catch us every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on the Racing America YouTube channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we will see you all next time. Take care. Bye.